Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 1:23. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It is 1:23 a.m. on Wednesday going into Thursday evening. It is 21 degrees outside. It's cold. And I want to have my Brazilian Kiss lip balm from Sol de Janeiro, but I also want my lip gloss. It has, look at my little hair right here. Hello, hair. This is, what was her name? Sheila Sue? I can't remember. This is Darling Jolene Joe. She visits over here. She's not visiting tonight. She's not kicking. She's not kicking. I'm 50 and I like to kick. It has snowed a little bit off and on all day today. It was pretty. It was like very light snow. Oh, here's, got my lip gloss, my brand new one that I took out of the box today while I was filming my videos. Yeah, it snowed off and on all day today, but it was just like light flurries. It was very, very pretty. The snow consistency is kind of weird. I don't even know how to explain it. You know, did you guys ever see the movie Testament? About like, it was with, why can't I think of her name? Jane Alexander. She was fantastic in it. And I can't remember what the guy's name was. But Lucas Haas, that little kid, I think it might have been his first movie. He was in a bunch of movies back in the day. He played the youngest son. I've talked about it on here before because he runs away to go find his dad, who is probably like, it's about nuclear war. It came out in the 80s. It's such a sad movie. I actually watched it again last year. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I'm like trying to remember how it ends, and I don't remember how it ends. Really sad. Everybody I think dies. But there's like that radiation fallout, kind of like snow or whatever I'm thinking in the movie, but like that's it. Who is texting me? The snow kind of seems to have like this kind of like weird kind of, I don't know what you call it, weird kind of consistency to it. That's not the word I'm looking for. But it's not like snow. It feels like a dusting kind of, and it's just very weird. But anyway, did you guys ever see that movie? When the kid, Lucas Haas, I think he's like my age, and he, which is weird that I would have known that movie growing up. It's probably like some drama my mom watched, and I laid there on the end of the bed and acted like I was asleep so I could watch the movie. But he runs away and he's like burying his toys, and she's like, she says, his mom finds him, and she says, "Where are you going?" And he says, "I'm running away." And she goes, "But where are you going?" And he says, "To find Dad." And she said, "And what will you do when you find him?" And he says, "I can't know." I love that line so much. I don't know why. The movie is so sad though. It's weird, you know, like reading a book about, or watching a movie about like nuclear fallout, and then a couple years ago I read that, or nuclear war, which was like a big fear, you know, when I was growing up. Like that was a big fear in the 80s. If you grew up in my era, you'll know, like, I mean, people talked about it a lot, you know. And then, I mean, people didn't talk about it all the time, but it was like a fear. I mean, like, we would talk about it as kids, you know. I can remember growing up, and it was like a thing that was in like movies and stuff and TV shows. And then I remember a couple years ago I read that book, one minute after, by, I think it was by Robert Fortune or Richard Fortune. I think it's by Robert Fortune. And there's like 2 or 3 books in the series. I wanted to go back and read the other 2, but it's basically what would happen today if there was like war, and it was more like a pulse would be sent through like the United States that would like, just like everything that was electrical or ran on a battery or anything would just kill it like instantly. So like planes would fall from the sky and cars wouldn't be able to, and apparently this is true because there was somebody in like the House of Representatives or the Senate that like wrote the introduction and said this is exactly what would happen, you know, and that cars would just stop on the road, refrigeration would stop, like anything that required any kind of electricity would just be done like immediately. And it was so weird reading that book because it was like things you wouldn't even think of, like pacemakers and diabetic pumps and refrigeration for certain kind of medication and on and on and on. And it was just so sad. It was a really interesting book to read. I hate saying that it was a good book over such a sad topic, but it really was. It was a really well done book. I think you can see he's texting me. It's my husband. He's going to bed. It took me from like 6:30 tonight until like 11 to upload this video on my drama channel, my Peter Monn channel. I don't know what was going on. It kept on getting to like the processing part. I knew he would text me back. It would get to the processing part and then it would say, I mean, it's done this before, but it would just say 0% processing, and then it would say processing will begin shortly or whatever it says on there, but then it would never start. And I had uploaded it once without like editing this one part. And so I had to upload it again. And I had to upload it like 5 or 6 times, you guys. It was such a mess. I was getting so frustrated with it. So I sat with Alex and so Alex went to hot yoga tonight with his friend, and then they went to go eat afterwards at this Chatham Tap or Chatham Arch or whatever. And so he asked me if I wanted anything. I looked at the menu, and he brought me a veggie sandwich, which was like hummus and tomato and onion and lettuce and all this stuff on ciabatta bread. It was really good. I actually ate the tomatoes and the cucumbers. I just ate them. I didn't put them on the sandwich. I just put the onions and the lettuce on the sandwich. But then sweet potato fries with ranch dressing and a limoncello LaCroix. It was delicious. And so I sat there and I watched the beginning of the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion, because I had seen the end of it with Alex, but I hadn't seen the beginning of it. So I went back and I watched the beginning of that. And then I didn't know that the second part was on tonight. So while I was sitting there just waiting for this video to upload, I was like just sitting there looking at my computer. I looked on Audible. It's just, I was getting so tired of it. Because I made a video for every single, my Peterisms video yesterday I forgot to post. And I didn't realize it till super late. So I was like, okay, I'll just post it tomorrow. But then I uploaded a video on all of my channels today. I made this iced tea, this bubblegum iced tea on my Peter Does Stuff channel. You guys, this thing was so cool. If you don't normally watch that channel, go check it out. It's this thing I got from David's Tea, and it was actually on sale. It's an iced tea press, and it was just fantastic. I couldn't believe it, and it was so cool and so easy to do. I was like, oh my God, I'm loving this. So now I'm infatuated with that iced tea maker. And then... So I sat there with Alex and we watched The Real Housewives of Orange County Part 2 of the reunion. And then we watched, what did we watch after that? Oh, no. After that was over, then the video got uploaded. And he was going to watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I said, can you just save it for me? He said, you don't want to watch it? And I said, well, I need to go vlog. And I wanted to call Tanya first and my sponsor, because I hadn't talked to my sponsor in a while. Been like, I don't even know how long. It's been a little while since I talked to her. And she had been having some dental work done and stuff, and I knew that she didn't like really want to talk on the phone a whole lot. So Tanya was just kind of keeping me updated on what was going on. But anyway, she had like some serious dental stuff. So I talked to Tanya for a little bit, and then I called my sponsor, and she and I talked for, I just looked on the phone, an hour and 9 minutes we talked. We caught up, and we talked about all kinds of stuff, and it was great. I love my sponsor so much. I feel so blessed to have her in my life. I feel so blessed to have all the people that I have in my life. You know, I just feel like I have like really good friends, loving, caring family and friends surrounding me, and it just is like such a blessing, you know. I tell Tanya, I'm like, you know, I feel like the majority, like when I was growing up, I didn't really have any friends. And so then when I got, you know, and when I met Tanya is really when it started, that I had some really, I mean, I've had good friends in my life. In high school, I had some good, dear friends. And in college, I had some good friends. Even when I was drinking, I had some very dear friends, you know, and using. But the people that I have in my life today are just amazing. And so I just feel so blessed, you know. And I was telling Tanya, I said, you know, like, whenever, like the couple times that I've specifically talked about friendship, like in my vlog or my Peterisms channel or whatever, it's like I'll get a couple comments from people and they'll say, you know, you're so lucky, like I've never had a friend like that and whatever. And I've said to Tanya, like, you know, like I think we should never take it for granted, you know, our friendship, because there's some people that just will never, you know, or have never had a friend like that. And it's like, you know, it's but for the grace of God, you know. I was just actually telling my sponsor, she's like, now how did, because, you know, she's Tanya's sponsor too, and she said, now how did you guys meet? And I was like, you didn't know how we met? She's like, no, I've never heard the story. So I was telling her about how I used to, like I had boarded at Tanya's kennel, my dog, and so I went in there, and Tanya and I'll never forget the first time I met her. And she had just gotten done with this, funny, talking about yoga, she had just got done with this yoga class with this girl that used to work for her. And she said they almost got kicked out, or they got kicked out or something, because they got laughing so hard because they couldn't do, like, she was like showing me, she's like sitting dog, and she was like, I couldn't do any of the things, and we got laughing so hard, and she's like, I'm not flexible at all, and she's like, but I really want to get into yoga. Tanya always like wants to get into this stuff that's like super healthy. And so she's like, but I couldn't do it at all, and we got talking, and she just was like, have you ever met somebody that is just like, has just like this energy around them that is just like so positive and so attractive that you just want them in your life, you know? And that's how I immediately felt. And then she was like, you know, you should stop by sometime on your way home from work, because I lived like right by where the kennel is. And she's like, stop by sometime and we'll smoke a cigarette or something. And I said, okay. I didn't really think much about it when I left, just that she was so nice, you know? And we were talking about it because her sobriety birthday is next week. Tanya's sobriety, her 25th sobriety birthday is next week. And she and I are a year behind each other. And, or I'm like a year ahead of Tanya. And then there was a time when I was like, her sponsor was a year ahead of me. And then it was me and then Tanya. And we were all like within like 3 months of each other, like a year and 3 months of each other. But, so she said, you know, stop by sometime, smoke a cigarette, hang out, we'll go, you know, whatever. And when we like were talking, I was like, you look familiar. And she's like, oh, she was like, you know, she was like, you look familiar too. And it was because she had sponsored somebody that I knew. So anyway, somebody that I had worked with. So I was like, oh, I was like, okay. And so I would drive home from work, and I was like, should I stop by? Should I stop by? And I drive by, and I was telling my sponsor, she was laughing. She's like, that is so you. And I was like, I know. I'm like, people don't really believe that, but I'm like afraid of my own shadow sometimes, you know? And so I do have my hat, but I just was like, tonight I want to be comfortable, so I didn't put my hat on. But anyway, so I would drive by, and I would drive by, and I would drive by, and it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks later or something. I don't know how long it was, but anyway, it seems so weird that we've been friends for so long, like so weird. And I mean, and the thing is that's weird about it is I had a whole life before Tanya, you know. I mean, I at the time was 24, 25 when I met her, and so it's like, it's crazy to me that we've been friends for so long. think she had we figured it out one day. I think she just celebrated, like, she's just like a couple months past. She was like a year and 6 months or something like that. We figured it out one time. But anyway, so yeah, so this is like our 24th year of being friends. Is that not crazy? But anyway, I stopped by and just was like, hey, and it just, you know, she made me feel so comfortable. She didn't make me weird she didn't make me feel weird for stopping by. She just was like, hey, come on back and hang out with me for a second. And that was it. It was like from that moment on, like, she introduced me to all of her friends. I started going to my home group that I go to now. And, you know, I was telling my sponsor tonight, it's like the whole, like, when we talk about fellowship, you know, in 12-step programs, fellowshipping is like the social aspect of like meeting people and being friends with people and whatever. And it's such a vital part of recovery that I don't think that we talk about enough sometimes. And honestly, you know, like, I was very lonely in early sobriety. Like, I just didn't know a lot of people. Well, my first 6 months, I had a really good friend of mine. 6 to 8 months, I had a really good friend of mine that she's the one that got sober on New Year's Day, because she called me in treatment and she was drunk. And so her sobriety birthday is New Year's Day. So she and I went to a lot of meetings together, and she actually dated a guy that was in my aftercare group. And I was very busy with meetings and stuff like that, but I just didn't have a lot of sober friends. She and I went to so many meetings together. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her, probably. And most definitely I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her, because she got me out of myself to go places that I wasn't comfortable going to, you know, new meetings that I didn't know people. We used to go to a funeral home, I remember, for this one meeting. It was on Wednesday nights. And, but anyway, could smoke in a funeral home. Isn't that so weird when I think back on that? It was a smoking meeting in a funeral home, which is so weird because, like, years later, I met this guy whose dad owned the funeral home, and like, and I can remember just being like, oh my God, tell your dad thank you that, you know, like, whatever, that he allowed us to use the funeral home for meetings. But anyway, she ended up going to graduate school out of state, and so she moved away like that summer, like the end of that middle of that summer she moved away. And then I was like, I felt completely alone. I started dating my, like, first boyfriend that I consider my first boyfriend later that week. But later that week, that would have been like me to do, but no, later that fall. I met him on Halloween, and we started getting serious like in December, around my sobriety birthday. I can remember my roommate and I went to, she was interesting because my roommate and I, she was the person I partied with the most, and I was supposed to get rid of all the people in my life that, you know, people, places, and things kind of thing. And she ended up moving back to Indianapolis. She had moved to Kansas to live with her grandfather to save money. And she moved back to Indianapolis late that summer, I think, around the time my other friend left. But she moved in with these girls, like the apartment complex down from me. And we hung out all the time, and she stayed at my house. And you know what was so interesting is, I want to see who texted me. I think it's Alex while I'm in this parking lot. Hold on a second. Love you, love you, he said. I said love you, or he said good night. And I said good night, love you. And he said love you, with little heartly deal emojis. What was I gonna say? I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, she moved into, I'm looking to see if there's anybody else. Oh, hold on a second. Mel texted me earlier and I didn't look at it. She said, you're making me want to try that David's tea. You're an influencer. I'm not an influencer. I got that for free. I didn't get it for free. I had to buy it. It was like expensive too. Well, everything together because I bought so much of it, but it was all on sale. All that David's Tea stuff is on sale. You guys should go check it out. I'm like afraid they're going to go out of business because they've closed all of their shops. They closed all like 42 or 46 or 47 shops in the United States. I think it's 42 because I read the article and it was like 166 stores they closed in Canada. They're like getting rid of all their brick and mortar stores and then they're just going to be online, which just makes me so sad. But anyway, so I'm trying to support businesses that are really struggling, local businesses and other businesses. It's obviously not a local business, but so anyway, she moved in these apartments down this, just one over from me. I lived in these apartments. She moved, they were called Scandia. She moved in the ones right next door, were called Autumn Woods, and she lived with one of her best friends and then this other girl. Well, there are 3 of them or 4 of them there. Anyway, and then she and I would go out and stuff. She was so supportive of me in that year of sobriety. She was so supportive of me. Never drank around me, never did any drugs or anything like that around me. Like, which is interesting because I always thought like she might have like a serious problem because we drank so much together, but she was able to just kind of like give it up, and she was very, very supportive of me, and just another, like, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her because I literally had no social outlet except for that because I was going to meetings but I didn't know anybody, you know, at meetings, and like I said, I was kind of scared of my own shadow, and I'd started working at that point in the treatment facility. I started working there in May. So then when I met my boyfriend, it was like February, I think, something like that. I mean, we were not dating long before we moved in together. And he, and then my old roommate, and I, the 3 of us, got an apartment in Fishers at this place called Connor Farms that I loved. And we got a 2-bedroom apartment, and just, you know, we worked, and then I was in graduate school, and she worked 2 jobs. My boyfriend worked 2 jobs. I worked a full-time job, and I was in graduate school, and we would work out every day, and we would go for swims late at night when it was in the summer, and we would watch movies and stuff together. It was just like, that was like a really healthy period of my life. And then, yeah, and then after that was when I met Tanya. And, well, right about this, I guess it would have been like a year later that I met Tanya, and everything like changed for me. I don't know. Tanya and I figured it out. I don't know how we figured it out one day. We figured out like how long we've known each other and been friends. It doesn't matter, but forever, you know. And it's weird sometimes because she just seems like I think about all of that like before, you know, like all my friends from high school, all these people, like they don't, any of them know Tanya, you know, and it's weird because Tanya doesn't know any of them. So like when I'm telling stories and stuff, it's like she's never met these people, you know, but Tanya has friends that I've never met as well. But it's weird to think like Tanya has been in my life for, you know, I always round up, so it's probably been 23 and a half years, or 23 and years and a couple months, or something like that, almost 24 years, but I don't know how long. But anyway, it's weird to think that she's been in my life for that long and she doesn't like even know like some of the main players from my early part of my life, you know what I mean? I don't know, but that changed everything. And then she introduced me, you know, to all these people, and there was like 6 or 7 of us, and we all hung out together, and we traveled together in the summers. We would get a cabin on the water at Lake Norris, Tennessee, and, you know, either she would take her boat, or this guy that ended up sponsoring me, he would take his boat, and we would go up there for like a week. It was fun. We had a blast together. We went out to dinner like 3 nights a week, and we went to meetings. We went to our home group, you know, and then afterwards we would come over to Tanya's, and she'd make a bonfire out in the back patio, and we'd all sit out there, and just, it was just, her house was like this central clubhouse kind of thing. Like, you know, people were walking in and out. Somebody always like, you know, sleeping in a guest bedroom kind of deal, you know, and it was fun. We had like, there was always something going on at Tanya's, you know. even when I dated my ex, like, he was kind of a big part of that too. Well, he didn't actually go on any of the trips. We really did the trip thing later, I guess, because Alex did go on some trips. He went our first 2 years together. Those were the last 2 trips that we went on with that group, because then people started moving away, and you know, like I've said, a couple people went back out. One person just like stopped going to meetings, but still is sober. And our group kind of like just dispersed, and then it was just like Tanya and I. And it was weird. That was a really magical time of my life, you know, those years in there. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't be the person I was today if it wasn't for all those people that had been there for me in my life, you know. And it was just like, I felt part of something. I felt part of a group that was loving and caring and, you know, compassionate. And I mean, we would sit out there for hours, you know. We'd go get fountain pops, and we'd sit out there for hours with this bonfire, and you know, Tanya would be sitting inside and helping her son get ready for bed or something like that, you know. And then she'd be coming in and out, but like, you know, she'd be doing stuff with her husband or whatever, and we'd still be sitting out there talking till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, recovery stuff, having all these deep recovery conversations, you know. And then you know, we'd like, it'd be like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on, like, you know, one night, and somebody'd be like, do you want to order pizza? And we'd all order pizza, you know. Or, you know, one of us would be like, I want a fountain pop. And so like 5 of us would, you know, pile in the car and go to the gas station. Then we'd come back, and, you know, somebody else would have stopped by, and it was fun. It was like, I think it's important for people to know that, like, recovery can be really, really fun, you know. It's like, we're not a glum lot. Like, we have a lot of fun. That was some of the best, most simple fun I ever had in my life. And, you know, in all honesty, that was probably, at those times, were literally the poorest I ever was. You know, didn't have a lot of money to spend on stuff, you know. And I can remember, like, those trips that we would take to Lake Norris. It was even like, okay, you know, do I have the money to go, kind of thing. And always just somehow made it work, you know. And it was never like super expensive, and, you know, but like, we just had such a blast, you know. Just stupid fun of just playing games and talking, and, you know, just, I don't know, it just was, it definitely was a period of my life that I look back on with great fondness, you know. That I was just talking to my sponsor about that tonight. She's like, this summer, she's like, if things start opening up and it's safe again, she's like, I want to start having people over here. She's got a gorgeous backyard, and she's got an area, like, big fire pit, and then she's got this big patio. She's like, I want to have all these people out here, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I want to have a bunch of people and doing this and doing that. And she had a very similar group before we were like friends with her, because she had sponsored a lot of young women in the program, you know, that were in their early 20s. And Tanya always did too. She always sponsored a lot of girls that were like in their early 20s and stuff like that. And so, you know, and they would all be friends, and then they bring friends over, you know, that they knew from other meetings and stuff like that. And so we were talking about how this summer we want to do a bunch of stuff like that, you know, and have more like, you know, bonfires and barbecues, and sit outside, and, you know, have literature, unsanctioned literature meetings around a bonfire, you know, like at 11 o'clock on a Friday or something. To be fun, you know. I miss that stuff, that wholesome fun, you know. It really is. I have laughed harder sober with sober friends than I ever have being high or using with my using friends. And that's the absolute God's truth. What did I say to Alex the other day? We got laughing so hard about something. Well, we got laughing because we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and Simone kept on saying factory, factory. We got laughing at factory, but she was saying factory. The flag factory. We got laughing so hard for that. But there was something I said to Alex the other day, and he got laughing so hard, and then I started laughing, and I thought I was going to like pee my pants. I was laughing so hard. Laughing is it's so good for your soul, you know. It stopped, and right after it stopped, I said, I love to laugh. Who doesn't? Who says they hate laughing? If you say that you hate laughing, you better check yourself. Oh my gosh. Do you know what's so weird? Is I have my UGG boots on tonight. And these are the only shoes that do this. I don't know if it's because they're completely flat on the bottom or what, but Birkenstocks are flat too. But my right leg, that's on my accelerator, it always, like, my calf area starts hurting. Is that not so weird? Like, I don't know why that is. It's just my calf that hurts, so. Bum, 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 bum. What else did I do today? Well, I filmed a bunch of videos. Yeah. And I got up and I wanted my coffee. So I was like uploading the vlog, taking the dogs out and all that kind of stuff. They were wanting to run around forever, even though it was cold outside. I was like, whatever, run around. So they have so much fun out there. They just follow each other. Boo Radley follows Tucker wherever he goes. It's the cutest thing. And so we slept in, of course. Well, I listened to a lot of my book last night. I'll talk about that in a second. Man, that book is good. That Saint X. Oh my God, it's so good. So creaky Halloween door. That's what my mom used to always say. Doesn't that sound just like a creaky Halloween door? No, not so much. But anyway, I can't do it right tonight. It doesn't sound like a creaky Halloween door tonight, but I want it to. I love when, like, you drive past like an old tree and it has all those twirls and knots and stuff in it. Like, that's a Halloween tree. Did you ever watch that movie or read the book by Ray Bradbury? Oh my God, I loved that. Okay, so anyway, what was I saying? I was gonna talk about my book, but in just a second. Okay, this song has been playing on repeat, literally, and I can't. It's this Celia Cruz song. It's been playing on repeat the whole time. Okay, let's turn it over to the Seriously Sinatra station, Jazz Standard and Classical, 70, Jazz Standard and Classical, 71, Seriously Sinatra, Jack Jones, Lollipops and Roses. Don't know that song. Lollipops and Roses. Anyway, I got up, took the dogs outside. They wanted to run around forever. That was fine. So I was uploading my vlog. Then I did a bunch of crap. I made the bed, and then I got ready to leave. I went because I knew I wanted to come home and make videos. I was like, I'm gonna make some videos today, but it was already late in the day when I left. It was like 3:30. So I went and got my coffee at Starbucks. I had to drive to a different Starbucks because all the Starbucks near me are closing so early. I don't know why. And I guess they're just not making money or something. I don't know. So the one near me was closed. I didn't even go to the other one because Tanya told me it was closed. So I went to this other one that's kind of close to us. And just listened to my audiobook for a little bit. And then I got coffee, and then I did a review of the Lady Gaga Oreos because Tanya and I found those the other night. Well, I found them at the gas station, but it was when I was with Tanya. So I did a review of the Lady Gaga Oreos in the car. And then, because I thought it would be like brighter and be better than me just sitting in that chair, be something different. And then I came back and I filmed my drama video at like 4:35, which literally took me the entire day to put up, like all the way till like 11 o'clock at night. And then my vlog was like pretty much almost done by that point. And then I filmed, oh, well, so I published my Peterisms video that I had filmed yesterday but never published. So I posted that, published that. Then I did my BookTube video because I needed to announce the February book that Mel and I decided to read, which is called Hell in the Heartland. It's about these two girls in, I think, Oklahoma that were killed, and it had something to do with methamphetamines. I think that'll be an interesting read, an intriguing read. And then, so I made my BookTube video, and I also talked about Saint X, and I also talked about the book for next month for Peter's group. And I also talked about Devil's Knot, and just all book club stuff. And then, it's crazy to me that I have 2 book clubs. I just love to read so much. And then, what next? And then, I can't believe, I feel like I'm getting my vlog kind of like, I mean, I'm not going to end it right this second, but I'm not going to vlog forever tonight because I want to listen to my audiobook. But I'm kind of like ending it, or not ending it, but I'm vlogging kind of early tonight compared to what I usually do, you know? So then what was the next thing that I did? Can't even think. Oh, then I did the Peter Does Stuff video in the kitchen. And then I was like, oh, I thought I was going to do the Peterisms video, and I was like, oh, I already have the Peterisms video. That's when I published it. I posted it and put it up. Published it, posted it, and put it up. Published it, posted it, and put it up. And then I was like, okay, I'm done, and I fed the dogs. And no, I fed the dogs. Did I feed the dogs before that? No, I fed the dogs after I got my Peter Does Stuff video. I was like rendering it. Fed the dogs. Well, Alex was texting me about dinner and stuff. And I had taken the dogs out a couple different times. And of course I started talking about somebody. Started telling a funny story on here about somebody that probably would prefer not to be mentioned in a vlog. Anyway, just a good friend of mine, but good sober friend of mine. But anyway, to go back to what I was talking about, oh, I know what I wanted to say. Somebody was asking me, I think it was either in a drama video, because I had said something about all these things I do, or it was in a vlog, but somebody said, do you really take your dogs out, like, every hour? They're like, they said something like most dogs need to go out like every 4 to 5 hours or something. You know, like, sitting at home with the dogs, like, they aren't real active all day long. Tucker just, like, sits on the stairway going upstairs. He sleeps on, like, the bottom step. And Boo Radley just is like down in his house like the whole time that I'm making videos and stuff. So you know, I'm like, I kind of want them to be, I feel bad, you know, if they're just like sleeping. I mean, I know most dogs just sleep all day long, you know, but so I let them out like every hour and let them just like run around and get some fresh air and all that kind of stuff. I think it's good for them. And so yeah, they go out probably every hour and a half, maybe, you know, for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. I mean, I don't let them go out for a really long time when it's super cold outside, but I mean, it's been 30, so it hasn't been too cold. And then they come inside and they get a little treat, you know, and then it gives, you know, some structure to their day, and then they have something to look forward to. But I mean, I'm there all day long, so I like for them to be able to, you know, have some action, to have some fun, you know, doing some stuff. But anyway, I did all that, got those videos up. Then Alex came home, and then he brought me dinner from this place that he went. What did I say it was called? No, I can't remember. It starts with a C. I can't remember what it was called. I just was talking Chatham Arch or Chatham Tap or something like that. Chatham Arch is an area of Indianapolis, so it must be Chatham Tap, I think. Actually, it's like 5 minutes from here, so we might pass it and find out. And then he went upstairs to take a shower, and he's really into like sweating a lot during hot yoga. It makes him feel really, really good, he said. So he went and took a shower, and then I ate my dinner watching the beginning of the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion. And now we're here. But I wanted to talk about St. X a little bit, because I don't know if any of you out there reading it along with me this month for my book club, Peter's Book Club. Actually, I got my February book in the mail today from the publisher, and I'm so very, very excited. And they also gave me an audio version of it, which was really, really nice. And they're going to give away some copies to the publisher. And the author also reached out to me and said she was a huge fan of mine. Did I tell you this? I'm like fangirling so hard because I'm like such a huge fan of this author. Like, I love her work. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like blown away. Oh, I said she. I gave it away, didn't I? Well, I mean... Can you guess who it is? Anyway, it's a she. There's a hint. So I'm really, really excited about that. And then I tagged on my a true crime book club, and the author sent me a very, very nice message and was like, thank you for picking our books. I had tagged her in it. She's like, thank you for picking my book this month or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, we're so excited. That was very nice as well, you know? So anyway, Mel was real excited about that. And what else? Oh, Saint X. So that's the book for Peter's book club for January. Okay. The book is very dark and very deep. Definitely literary fiction. It's not like an easy read. It took me a while to get into. I actually at first was a little bored with it, I will say. That quickly changed last night as I was listening to it. I was like blown away. There's several different actors that do the different voices for the audible version, the audio version, which I didn't think I would like. But most of the narrators only come on like one time, or they only like narrate one part of the book, like one chapter, and then that's it. The book is so interesting. So the book is, and I'm not going to ruin this for anybody, you can read this on the back flap. It's about this family that goes to this Caribbean island called Saint X in the early 90s. And it talks a lot about... the main character in the book is this girl named Claire, and when she's 7, she goes with her family to this island. She has an 18-year-old sister that's a freshman at Princeton. They're a very privileged family, and that privilege is a huge part of the book, like huge part of the book. And it discusses race in a way like in a way that makes, like, if you are like a white reader, almost kind of uncomfortable, which I think is what the author intended. Almost kind of like she's holding a mirror up to your face a little bit, with some of it. It's very interesting the way that she does it, because you wouldn't like read the book and think that's what it's about, but that's definitely like a subplot of the book. So they go to this island, and I don't want to tell you a whole lot about it, but the 18-year-old daughter, she is murdered on this island. And it basically becomes a cold case, but they think that these two guys did it that worked for the resort that they were at. And I'm not going to tell you anything about all that. But these two guys like grew up on the island and all this kind of stuff, are from the island. And so through kind of part of their story, you get to hear the history of the island, and how the island was basically like nothing and then became like this tourist spot. And it's interesting, almost really, like that kind of plays into the whole like white Americans kind of taking over. It talks, I mean, it really talks about privilege and extends it past that really into kind of, I don't know, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it, into like almost like they become, it's this very bizarre roles that are set up within this island of people that are like the visitors and the guests and the people that work there, and like what's really their island and what's not their island. And so it's really, that part is really not about the United States, but it's really interesting how it's discussed in the book. And later in the book, the 18-year-old, her name is Allison, and you do hear her in the book because her voice comes out later, her story comes out later, and she is the one that really addresses all of this and how she talks about it. And it's really interesting, like what she thinks about in relation to all of this and these men that she meets and things like that. But then it's also part cold case, because you don't know really what is going on or who murdered this girl, and I've yet to find out, and I have 4 hours left of the book, of which I hope to finish tonight, because I'm of course listening to it faster than just one-time speed, so it'll be like I got 2 hours left of it. I'm going to listen to it tonight and finish it. So it's like this cold case, and her sister 20 years later or 15 years later or almost 20 years later is trying to she's 25, I think. So she was 7 at the time her sister was murdered. So what, 18 years later? She's trying to figure out from New York City, like, who killed her sister. Because she runs into, just by complete, accident, she runs into one of the guys that was accused of killing her sister. And so then, and this is all in the back flap, this won't ruin it for anybody, she goes in to develop this relationship with him because she wants to find out what happened with her sister. But at the same time, it's not just a cold case, because it's also her really trying to find out who was her sister and realizing that she never really knew her sister, and quite frankly, nobody really knew her sister. And it's very, who her sister portrayed herself to be and who she really was were two completely different things. And it makes you think to yourself, well, who really knows anybody? And do I really even know myself? It's a lot of self-questioning in this book. It's a lot deeper than when I was just listening to it at first, I was just like, da-da-da, okay, so it's about this murder that happens. And then it just after a while, I was I started asking myself all these questions in my head, and it just was super powerful. And so yeah, and now it's really, I'm really interested in the book, because it's well, where is it going next? And you don't really know. And it's also a lot about people that were affected by her death that never even knew her really, or knew her briefly in her life, and how they were affected 20 years later. And the sister compares the murder to that of JonBenet Ramsey and Nancy Kerrigan, those headlining international stories at that time, to kind of explain, she says, whenever she mentions who her sister is, people always know who she is. She says something to that effect, right? So it wasn't just she doesn't play it down to be this little murder. It's this huge, there was made for TV movies that were made about it. That's a huge part of it. And one part, I don't even know why she included this in the book, but it's interesting because at the time that you're reading some of it, it's you don't know why things are happening, and then a half an hour later, or when you're reading it later, it's okay, now I understand why she did that. But there's a part in there where the actress that played her in the made-for-TV movie is now a super huge famous actress. But it's literally one chapter, several pages that are just dedicated to her in first person, talking about how she didn't even want to play her, that she thought it was going to ruin her career forever. And it's and how she was treated playing her, and her relationship to this Allison that she never even knew she just played her in a movie. It's it's some of this stuff is weird, and then later you're reading the book and you're oh, now I know why she did that. It makes so much sense. But it's really about the juxtaposition, too, between, the people in our lives and how we're affected by things that happen to other people in a way, it's not just, their life over here, but it affects us as well, And it got me thinking about all these things in my life that have really kind of, stuck with me forever. I was saying this in my booktube video today, that it's I remember there was these kids when I was growing up. And I remember I was in school with the girl's sister, the one, because there was a girl and 2 guys, and then a teacher, and they were in a driver's ed car, and they were killed by a 7-Up truck. I don't know how I remember those details, because I would have been young at the time. I would have been 7 or 8 or 9. And I remember her sister was a year or 2 ahead of me in school. I knew her from riding the bus, but I didn't know her. And she always seemed very mysterious. The sister seemed very mysterious to me after that, I can remember, because I had no conception of death, right? Well, this girl Claire, who, I'm not going to talk about it, but she changes her name and stuff in the book. She talks about that. She talks about guys dating her just because they want to get closer to this ghost of her sister that they never even knew. They just knew the story, and how people treat her differently. And she talks about how she wouldn't even have the life that she has had her sister been alive, because she's so different as a result of her sister dying. And it makes you really question grief and how you change as a result of grieving somebody that has passed in your life or been a significant part of your life and they're now no longer here. It's a really deep book, and I don't know that I was really honestly prepared for it. And then there's a lot of questions that it's made me ask myself about am I really living a real life? Am I, you know what I mean? It makes you, I think, ask that. It's one of the, I think, oh, the battery's gonna die, shoot. well, I'll pull in here and stop in just a second. But like one of the like questions basically is like this girl, this Allison, the main character, well, the girl that, she's not the main character. The main character is her little sister that grows up and like investigates the case. But it is kind of like a murder mystery, but not really. It's like that's kind of like the subplot backstory to it. But like she really is like living a life. Like she's like doing things people don't know, and it's interesting because those things inevitably kind of like I don't know, like they kind of like inevitably, I don't know. We don't know how she died, how she was murdered, and she may not have been murdered. You know, I mean, I don't know yet. But it's like it makes you ask yourself, like, are you really like living? Am I really living? Like, you know, or am I afraid to live? So I don't know. It's a powerful, powerful book. Yeah, I'm gonna try here and go in here and change my battery. And I'm very excited for next month's book. I'm trying to start vlogging? I don't remember. I'll be right back. I don't know how I remembered, but I just looked at the clock and I was like, 1, 2, 3. What was that song? 1, 2, 3, shake your body down. Do you remember that song back in the day from the club? Oh my God, I loved that song back in the day. Oh my God, I might have to download that song. I don't even know what that song is called, but anyway. What was I gonna say? I was gonna turn this way, but now I'm just gonna go this way. Do you ever hum a song and you don't know what you're humming at the time? I was just singing that, or humming that, do 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 do, and I was like, what was I humming? And then I was like, oh my gosh, back home again in Indiana. Da, da, da. That's all I know. Oh my gosh. So yes, go read St. X. It's an excellent read. I think it's an important read. It's a really important read. Back home again in Indiana. Isn't it funny what songs like you learn as a kid that you remember? I used to jump rope to that. Big Mac filet of fish, quarter pounder. You know that one from McDonald's? I used to jump rope that. French fries, iced Coke, thick shake, sundaes, apple pies. But I used to also, with my mom, like she taught me all the Pi-Fi songs. Pi, Phi, Pi, Phi, Pi, Beta, Phi. I'll be a Pi-Fi all my life until the day I die. I wouldn't be a Kappa, to G, or Alpha Chi. Be a Pi, Phi, Pi, Phi, Pi, Beta, Phi. Now, every time I sing that song on here, at least one person asks, why wouldn't you be those other things? They're just kind of like rival sororities, you know? I mean, they're not rival sororities, but like, that's just what all sororities do with their songs. Pi Phi kisses, Pi Phi misses, sweetest. My mom used to sing them and she'd say, oh my God, we were so arrogant, weren't we, as a sorority? Pi Phi misses, Pi Phi kisses, sweetest of them all. You can have your Chi Omegas. Something, I don't know the rest of that song. And my dad was a Fiji. We are the fighting Fiji men. Fighting Fiji. Oh no, we are the mighty. We are the mighty Fiji men. But my dad is not so big with the whole fraternity stuff. He could care less. But I will tell you what's really cool is my dad. So my mom graduated from high school in 60. I thought that stopped. It was like blinding light for a second. Blinded by the light. My dad just went a couple years ago. Well, what would it have been? So, let's see, if he graduated in like 63, 62 from college. Wait. just say if he graduated in 62, which wouldn't have been 62 to 72, 72 to 82, 82 to 92, 92 to 02, 02. I bet it was he graduated in like 60. No, that wouldn't have been right. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. I cannot do math, you guys. I'm literally so bad at math. Okay, 62 to 72, 72 to 82, 82 to 92, 92 to 02, 02 to 12. Okay, it would be like, yeah, 2012 probably would have been when he did it. My dad went to his, God, was it that long ago? He went to his fraternity reunion in Bloomington, and my dad had such a blast. I was so glad he went, because he doesn't like do stuff like that, you know. And but he was like, you know, you got to see all of his fraternity brothers, and it was like they did like those 4 years, like that would have been like around his age, you know. And so, and my dad was president of the Fiji House when he was there, I think senior year. So I don't know, but he just has told so many funny stories. He had such a good time. And my dad's best friend, his entire life, was his fraternity brother. We used to go visit him. He lived in Sarasota, Florida, and he actually died like, God, it's been a long time now, probably, it's before Alex and I were together. 15 years, I bet it's been, maybe longer than that, maybe 20 years. My dad was like pretty devastated when he passed away. I think he died of a massive heart attack. He was such a nice guy. Oh my God, they were so funny when we would go down there. My dad's nickname is Monzo. Everybody always calls my dad Monzo. I never had a nickname like that. Well, people call me Pete. Sometimes my dad calls me Pete. Alex calls me Pete sometimes. Tanya calls me Pete. My mom, she didn't really. My stepmom calls me Pete. Some of my relatives do, but not very often. My dad and my stepmom, they always call me Pete. But my dad has like 6 nicknames from all different kinds of people. Isn't that so funny? Blinded by the light. Why can't I find... Oh, you know what? When I picked up I wonder what, just something like when I was changing the battery, I like picked this stuff up over here and I heard something go over there, and it was my lip gloss. So it's on the side over there by the door. Which, do you remember the night that my battery fell over there? Do you know I left that battery there for like 2 or 3 nights, and I forgot that it was there. And I get in the house and I'd be like, oh yeah, it's out in the car. And I'd be like, oh, I'll get it tomorrow. I don't want to get it tonight. I haven't really been, other than reality TV with Alex and RuPaul's Drag Race is reality TV. I haven't been really watching a lot of TV lately. I wanted to watch The Night Stalker, and I had such a hard time getting into it the one night. Well, I think I tried it 2 different nights, and I just was like, I am not into this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I read the book and about The Night Stalker, and I felt like it was pretty like cohesive, and not cohesive, but it was pretty like it covered everything. And so I don't know if I'm just like not that interested in it. Mel said it was pretty good. She was like, but there's nothing in there that you won't really know from reading the book. But she said the detective stuff was interesting. So I don't know. I kind of want to read it, or I kind of want to watch it. But then there's a couple other shows I want to watch too. I asked Tanya if she had watched that Bridgerton, and she's seen everything like right away. I like asked her if she's like, oh yeah, I binged the whole thing yesterday. I'm like, the whole thing? She's like, yeah, the whole thing, while I was like doing work around the house. I'm like, you watched the whole thing, the whole series? And she's like, I love that kind of stuff. She's like, I love those epic pieces and whatever. And I said, everybody's going on and on and on about how good it is. She's like, it's beautifully done. She's like, I love it. It's so great. But Tanya loves nothing more than like a 14 or 1500 page book that's like an epic era timepiece. And that's like the least. And she loves, like, what's that one person that she loves? Why can't I think of? I would say he, and I can't think of his name. But she loves his books. And he does these like epic, like era pieces, you know, and she loves them. I'm actually going to give her Saint X when I'm done with it. blind. Oh, I'm listening to it on Audible, but I've got the hardback that I've been like referring to and looking in, you know, and stuff like that, and using for my videos and stuff too. So I'm gonna give it to her when I'm done with it. I was like, well, did you read a hardback or do you just read on your Kindle? She's like, I would read a She's like, oh yeah, I would read a hardback. I read hardbacks. She always reads on her Kindle. I don't remember the last time she read a hardback, but, well, like when she goes to like on vacation, she usually takes a hardback with her for like the pool or the beach or whatever. But she hasn't gone anywhere in forever. I always think it's so funny when you guys are like, you leave me comments and you're like, your vlog is so peaceful, so comforting. Like, it's so nice just to listen to your voice when I go to bed at night. I really, really appreciate it. It means so much to me that you guys say that, because it's funny, because there are so many, like, I just love, like one of the things I love is like Big Brother After Dark, when they would just like, you know, be like planning alliances on the back, you know, out by the pool, and they'd be like 3 of them sitting out there. Tanya and I used to be able to just like to lay on her couches, I mean, honest to God, for like 3 hours and just watch those Big Brother After Dark. And then it would show them, a couple of them like in the bedroom, and they'd be talking, and there just was something like so like comforting about them just like sitting there, and like, and they would like whisper and stuff like that. Did you ever watch that back in the day? Oh my God, I loved it. So it means a lot to me that you guys say that, you know, especially when my entire life people have said that they like made fun of my voice or they didn't like my voice, and now people are like, oh my God, I love your voice, it's so soothing and comforting, which I think is so funny. But it means a lot to me, and I just want to say how much I appreciate it, and how much I appreciate you guys watching and listening every day. I love this channel so much. You guys know that. It's like I said the other day in my drama video, my Peter Monn channel, it's like my heartstone, and it is. And I love coming over here and just like talking every night with you guys. So, but I'm gonna get off here now so I can finish St. X. I'm gonna go to the gas station and get gas and run in and go to the bathroom before I spend the next 2 hours listening to St. X and finishing it. So, wish me luck. And then I think I'm gonna round the month out, unless I can get 2 books in. But I think I'm going to finish the month off, finish the month out. Finish the month, but I'm going to finish the month by listening to the last misfortune book that I have in the series until she releases her next one in February. And I cannot believe that I have made it actually through the entire series so far. So when I finish that book, which I haven't even started yet, but then I'm going to start next month the Stephanie Plum, the Janet Ivanovich Stephanie Plum books, and I'm really excited about it. And if I like those books, I'm hoping that will be one of the series. I also want to read the Dorinda Jones, Charlie Davidson books, and those are the 2 series that I really want to read this year. So I've got a lot of fun, exciting reading to do, and I am really, really excited about it in the year to come. So anyway, if you're reading, let me know what you're reading in the comment section below. And I love you guys. Just like my friend Stephanie says, I'm gonna make it real quick tonight. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! With a short outro, I have to come back and say, you know I have to come back and say, you can count on me coming back and saying, well, not every time, but sometimes. One more, I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! This is supposed to be me, like, do you get it? Like, I put my hand in front of it. You know, like all the YouTubers do. Do I do it right? I don't think I do. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye.